to the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Foo.
Supposed to get rain today. It did not rain today.
I don't think I saw any rain today either.
We had on, it was Friday with the Amazon lady.
Yeah.
Somewhere about dinner time, 5-ish, like end of day, because Venus and I were both like around in the kitchen. Pops off with a notification, and Venus is like, "Lady, notifications," and she goes, "There's a chance of rain in your area with the accumulations of 1.5 inches," and or whatever, however she phrased it, but 1.5 inches.
Yeah.
And Venus is like, really?
Yeah.
And so Venus went outside, dumped out the rain gauge. We're like, well, let's just see, like, what's going to happen. I think there was an inch from the storm that was like in there, but we weren't really tracking it. So she dumped out the rain gauge, and if you're in the Northern California area, you got aerial flood warnings pretty much anywhere and everywhere. And sure as shit,
an inch and a half.
on Saturday, we went out there. There was not 24 hours, like 12 to 14.
Yeah.
Inch and a half of water from the sky.
Yeah.
Like, it was formidable.
That's crazy amount of rain.
Yeah.
We recorded early last week because I flew up to Portland.
Right. Wait. Welcome to Sad Dads Club Podcast, episode 200. I
don't remember.
I'm the Lord Foo.
And I'm Jim.
Okay.
So I flew up to Portland to drive home the next day, flew up on Wednesday night. To drive home the next day on Thursday with my daughter because she has an internship in the Bay Area.
Right.
So I get up there and it is Portland is dumping rain.
Oh, yes.
It was hardcore raining up there. And I guess normally it's sort of like Seattle, like they just sort of get drizzle all the time.
Yeah.
But it was raining fucking hard and there was standing water everywhere. So then we had been checking the forecast because they were talking about low snow levels and stuff, and there's a decent pass on the southern end of Oregon to get back into California.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, it's supposed to be okay on Thursday, But every time I put in directions to home, not that you could ever mess it up because it's a straight shot, but it's nice to see how much time is elapsed and all that kind of shit.
Right.
So every time I put directions in, it pops up a message that says, carry chains. I'm like, fuck.
Winter storm warning, carry chains.
Yeah. Let me just say that I didn't talk about this much, but it rained on us for at least 6.5 hours straight of just rain on that drive. That was 6.5 hours of fucking rain.
Wow.
All the way from Portland, all the way to Redding.
Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy, dude.
Did you get snow?
No, there was snow on the ground, but it wasn't. I think it was probably because it was the time of the day that we went.
Did she have? Yeah, I think
she's
I
got a
remember
Subaru.
you talking about she had wipers. I mean, are they bald? Are they bald now?
Probably.
That's a lot of.
It was just
rain.
It like took a lot out of me. Just being tired.
Yeah.
And she wouldn't drive in the rain, so I ended up driving the whole way.
Oh. Yeah, the harmonics of the wipers and just the constant distraction of water on the windshield. Yeah,
and you're being ultra careful because everything's wet and other traffic kicking up shit and blah, 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 right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and then we get all the way down to, so we just take 5 straight down. Directions will tell you to take the cutoff and take 99 from like Red Bluff area.
Sure.
And then cut it over to the left side of the east side of the valley.
Right.
And then go through like Chico and all that shit.
Right.
Because that's faster technically, I guess. It's probably just because of mileage. Really.
Yeah. The distance, 2 points, straight line.
Blah, blah, blah. So when you go, we just stay on 5. We just past that and keep trucking on 5 and then just kind of make the loop into Sacramento and then cut back a little bit and then cut across baseline, right?
Okay.
So we get all the way into Sacramento. We go through Woodland. We go over the like bridges and then get right in front of the airport, and traffic just comes to a dead fucking stop because there's a big accident.
Okay.
And we're sitting there creeping in traffic, and all of a sudden her temp light comes on.
And is this out of nowhere?
Yes.
Was the drive non-eventful up until this point?
Non-eventful. We had a sneaking suspicion that this car had a head gasket issue already.
Okay.
There were a couple of signs.
Mm-hmm.
One sign being that at one point she complained because half of her vents wouldn't pump out any hot air when she had her heater on.
Sure.
And when I went to flush her heater core out, I was getting little bits of shit out of it, like someone had put gasket fix into the system, and it had clogged up the heater core.
Yeah.
So that happened.
Coagulant.
And then the day before she was supposed to drive up to Portland on this for this last setup, she started her car, which she hadn't driven for a couple of days, and a very large plume of white smoke puffed out of the tailpipe.
Oh, yeah.
And then went away because probably coolant in the cylinder.
Right.
So there was that. And then the temperature thing happened on the way down. So that means you're running at freeway speed, everything's hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come to a stop and suddenly that cool air is no longer being fed in.
Right.
And the coolant is being heated by the exhaust because the head gasket's bad. So exhaust is leaking through the head gasket and getting into the coolant, and the coolant never really cools off.
Right. Heat soak.
It heat soaks, and then the temperature comes on. Now, the light only came on for maybe 8 or 10 seconds. I cranked the heater on real fast. It went out. It didn't come back on. But I can't let her go with that car to another town 2 hours away or an hour and a half or whatever in good conscience.
Right.
And deal with whatever the fuck happens.
Right.
So she has taken Shanna's car to San Rafael.
Okay.
And we have her car here. And today we dropped it off at a place called Subi West in near Arden area.
Okay.
To have them
diagnose
diagnose and probably fix.
Head gasket.
And, I think given that we kind of caught it on the early side, I mean, it's been broken, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
But we haven't had any overheat events that would like warp shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, it's overheated and it didn't, So I think given that we kind of caught it on the early end, we probably don't have too many things that, I guess on boxer motors, the bottom end is very, like they can't shave a lot off the top where the head meets the crankcase because there's not enough tolerance, and it interferes. You have to have some gap with the cylinder so that it doesn't hit the head.
Okay.
So they can't take a lot off. So if it warps, they only have a certain amount of room to
right.
like 7 thousandths or something.
Okay.
So if that's the case, if it's warped and it's beyond 7 thousandths, then it's a new motor.
Then it's motor.
Yeah.
Right.
The heads they can machine.
Sure.
But everything else has to be true.
So,
and he was telling me he's the guy that started this place is a mechanic from Auto West Subaru at the Roseville Auto Mall here in town. Nice. Worked there like 14 or 15 years.
So how did you find this place? Like what?
Just Google.
You just, okay.
Yeah. We found 2 places that were ideal. One was in Auburn.
Yeah.
The reviews were outstanding. It was a 5-star review.
Wow.
Place. You don't see that for a mechanic.
No.
Everyone just had nothing but good things to say.
Yeah.
I mean, unless they're doing some weird cleaning and getting rid of bad reviews somehow.
Right.
I don't know, but there were a lot of really good reviews.
Didn't offer free coffee. 4 out of 5 stars. Bounce that one. Kick it out.
This guy also had good reviews, but he's not been in business as long.
Okay.
But after meeting him and talking to him, he knows his shit for sure.
Okay.
So we dropped it off. He's going to diagnose it. He's going to do what the block test, which is the liquid that turns color,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I'm like, yeah, well, you're going to see it turn color because I can see bubbles coming up out of the tank. You know. Yeah, that was the other indicator that it was a head gasket problem. There are bubbles coming up out of
the radiator?
From, you know, yeah. So, cool. And, you know, it's probably going to be, at a minimum, $3,000.
Hey, I know.
I know. We just had this discussion, so I mean, it wasn't on the show.
Because I'll share MeMaw here in a second. But there's, if you've owned or know anything, if you're a car person or you're a car person adjacent, there is a running joke
about Subarus.
About Subarus and head gaskets.
Right.
It was after you had mentioned it and that because I owned Grimlock was a Subaru. So Subaru WRX. I can't remember what year it was, but it was the hatchback version.
Yeah.
I loved the shit out of that car.
Yeah.
I drove the shit out of that car.
Right.
Never had a problem. But after you had mentioned that you were going to have to take it to a shop, Melly's car, take it to a shop, I'm like, what? How much of the Subaru head gasket thing is old wives' tale? Because you and I and anyone that's car adjacent knows that head gasket problems happen to all manufacturers.
Yeah.
As someone that not even 6 months ago, less than a year ago, was heavily scrubbing Facebook Marketplace for late 80s, 90s era small pickup trucks, know that Toyota has a huge problem with blown head gaskets and the SR20s. Like it's a known thing. Now, part of it was like a design flaw, lack of maintenance, but Toyota, those 90s trucks and that motor are almost as problematic with head gaskets and rebuild engines as what I would know now as like the meme of Subarus and their head gaskets. But yet, if you were to talk about those trucks in our time,
they're solid as can be.
Oh God, yeah. Well, you ever had to have it rebuilt? Oh yeah, I had to have it. The fucking head gasket blew out in like 2003.
Yeah,
like it had 135,000 miles on it, but yeah, I blew out the head gasket.
I mean, I had a Civic that blew a head gasket.
Right. So it happens. But I was curious. I'm like, how much of this?
I did ask the guy. Because I was curious also. Yeah. So, okay, go ahead.
2001 to 2009.
Okay, yeah.
Forester, Outback, Impreza, and the Baja.
Yeah.
And it had to do with the design of the head gasket material, that it was not so if you're don't know, Subaru's engines are a boxer format, and that means instead of pistons at an angle, 45
or
degrees,
going straight up and down,
they go horizontally. They go side to side.
Yep.
So the head gasket material in those engines where the pistons go side to side, in that block of years, the head gasket material was shit. And so what would happen is if you didn't keep up on your maintenance, or even if you did, the corrosion would start to eat away at the head gasket material, and then it would leak, and the head it would go sideways. In 1999, Subaru realized that there was a problem with the material, so they changed to a metal.
In 2009, you mean?
1999.
Oh, then why would a 2000?
Because the metal,
the
shimmed metal head gasket material wasn't steel, and it still started to suffer from the same problems of corrosion and being horizontal.
That makes sense.
So
it would basically eat from the coolant jacket side.
Yeah, where the cylinder head and the crankcase met, eventually it would just start to seep through the gasket, and you would get what you would get. In post-2009. So after 2009, when they went to the EL instead of the EJ, they changed the head gasket material to steel, and the problem was relatively fixed. It would, even if you could, like the Toyotas, you could abate, but if you were 2001 to 2009 in the EJ,
it was almost a foregone conclusion.
You were going to eventually suffer from the problem. It was built into the design.
Yeah, and the other issue is that because it's a boxer motor, you have two heads. So you have two.
Yeah.
You have two heads with two head gaskets. So it's not just one like on a inline six where the cylinders go up and down, or I guess in a V6 or a V8 they would have two.
Yeah.
But there are two completely separate sides of a boxer motor, two cylinders punching out on either side.
Right.
And you have a head that covers the top of that and the head gasket on each one. So you have twice as much opportunity for failure.
So if you didn't keep up with your maintenance and your oil started to get in any form or fashion like acidic, if you didn't keep up, how many people actually routinely flush their coolant? And that gets too acidic, and you had a compromised or insufficient, poor design head gasket material, and the boxer design itself lends itself to not properly draining. Everything is working against you in the design of those years.
Yeah.
So, but they're not the only ones.
Yeah. I mean, you think about it, that car is now, 15 years old?
So I meant to ask, what is her?
It's an 09, right at the end.
She is at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that this guy was saying was that it starts a lot of times at the radiator. So from what I have heard talking to a couple different places for quotes and looking to see who I should take it to, is that one of the things they do is replace the radiator. That's just part of the job, is because the radiators start to get corrosion in them, and part of that corrosion helps in eating away the head gasket material.
Yeah.
And also the bottom of the radiators start to get clogged with this extra corrosion that's in there, and then they start cooling less efficiently.
Sure.
And so now you're just pumping hotter water through the system, and that also helps with the head gasket problem because the engine runs warmer, and that creates another issue.
Yeah.
So he was very knowledgeable. I don't have any question that they can fix it. He said it, considering when he starts, or that he's going to do his tests or whatever, his estimate, he should be able to have it done by about the 1st, which isn't very long, couple of weeks.
Oh yeah.
And
then the 21st.
Yeah.
Right now.
And then we'll shell out a whole bunch of fucking money, and we'll get her car back, and then we'll deliver her car and get Shanna's car back. So we're down to one car again.
Surprise. Fuck.
I sent an email to the group today, like, what?
The lav mic is in your hole.
I sent an email to work group that of the what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I got to run out today at 2:00. I got to go take my daughter's Subaru to a place in Sacramento. And I got a very snarky email from one of my coworkers. Was like, hey, why don't you just look for cars that are maybe reliable?
Oh, fuck that.
And I was like, yeah, hey, fuck off. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
But, shit happens.
Shit happens.
Yeah.
So, MeMaw.
Yeah.
So,
MeMaw being, if people don't know, your 1989 Nissan Hardbody pickup.
Yes.
Yeah. That you just bought, what, 6 months ago?
Yes.
Less?
So 120-something thousand miles.
Which isn't a lot of mileage for
it isn't
a vehicle of that age.
But you don't know. I don't know. It had been non-op for the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I don't know where it was used. I know it was used and owned in Cool, and I can only imagine most of that mileage obviously going anywhere reasonable to get all the way to Auburn down. Anyway, I was going through the slow process of just kind of refreshing things. I had just was doing proof of concept testing of Raptor liner on the camper shell. The edge of the bed was coming out great. I just done the taillights.
I was impressed by that stuff, by the way.
Me too. Yeah. And when I put the camper shell on, like, it's fucking nice. I would have liked to have done a second coat, but
one sweater's fine.
Well, yeah, one, whatever. It's all good. I just done the headlights, and when I bought it, the gentleman told me he'd replace the plugs, but he hadn't done the wires. I'm like, well, I'll put some nice OEM plus NGK wires on there. That's not going to hurt anything. I had just done those. I had replaced a couple rubber vacuum lines with silicone ones that were like cracking. Yeah. And this was probably Wednesday, Thursday of 2 weeks back. Done all those things. It was in the garage, and I had started it, and it sounded like once I replaced the vacuum line, something tells me it had a pulling vacuum.
It's all working.
Yeah, it was like it was very. Oh, I replaced the battery. It was very snappy. Like the throttle response here in the garage. Like,
that made a change.
I was like, fuck. It just sounded tighter. The throttle was tighter, and it started right up. Everything sounded great.
Just like a stripper.
Yeah, just fucking dollar bills at it. Get down on the pole. Like, do the thing. I had agreed to help Mike's sister do her brakes on the next Friday.
Yeah.
So I had the truck loaded up with tools, shit, and I was on my way out to do that. And somewhere along baseline, out of nowhere, shit, that's not right. Like, fuck.
That's not a good sound.
It's not a good sound. By the time I get back, power is dropped off significantly. And I just parked. This was Super Bowl Sunday week. And switch cars, get to Mike's, do the brakes, come back. And now I'm in a, like, what did I do?
Did I do something?
Yeah. Did I do something wrong? Like, my hope is
I had too much power.
Right. And it's like, you just kept touching stuff. I'm like, I didn't touch anything to modify it. I was just refreshing.
Maintaining.
Right.
Yeah.
Nothing was a mod. Like,
you didn't throw a turbo in it.
Yeah. I wasn't, removing EGR shit and like I've done to Heimdall. But anyway, it was important in the era and what I knew so far that I wasn't modifying anything. I was refreshing or renewing existing OEM parts. I had let it sit Saturday because I was upset with myself that I may have made a mistake and broken something. And Sunday...
And also, you didn't fully want to know the truth, probably.
100%. Yeah. That is 100% also a factor.
I feel that also.
Sunday, I went to work, and I told Venus that in between work and, like, the Super Bowl, if I had time, the bottom line is I needed to get it out of the garage because I had pulled it in. It had enough gumption to get into the garage. I'm like, well... I need to get it out of the garage because this is also the studio. Plus, I can't start something and then the garage becomes unusable.
You didn't want us to mount our mics to like the fenders and stuff?
Right.
Or the truck
just
bed
do it in the
something?
truck body.
Yeah.
Like, let's put the camper shell and just lean down. Welcome to Sad Dad's Club Podcast, the Camper Shell Edition.
Yeah.
In my small gap after work, I was like going through the checklist of like things that I was gonna like test, and I was like, well, I'll go get the original plug wires and I'll put all that stuff back in, and then start it to see if maybe I pulled up like the distributor diagram to make sure that all my plugs. So I had pulled off the brand new plugs, and I went, why? Why am I doing this part? So I pulled off the plugs or pulled off the wires, and I just pulled the plugs out, and I went to go get the boroscope, and I went, this is, I'm just gonna look, because why fuck
just need
around?
to scan your peepers in there.
I just need to see, like, what, if the cylinders are fine, then it's, my heart doesn't have to skip a beat, and then it's possibly that I hadn't plugged a plug in all the way.
I mean, you're beating yourself up, but I feel like it ran fine.
It did.
So, and then at some point during the drive, it didn't sound good.
That is correct.
So it's not like that would have happened immediately.
Yes.
So
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I started at the back of the motor, cylinder 4, wires off, plug out, boroscope in. There is a Oreo. So yeah, the first one I did, there was an Oreo-sized chunk missing out of cylinder 4, and massive scoring on the cylinder wall. And game over.
Yeah, that's a non-starter.
And I'm like, well, okay. Well, it wasn't the plug wire orientation.
And you could put just pour some piston fix in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'll just like epoxy itself.
Right.
And then you just kind of run it through a couple compression cycles, and
it's fine.
It's like fucking
good to go. Yeah.
So that didn't sit well.
Yeah, that's tough.
Because I was telling you and Xander really in the moment on Sunday at some point when I had like with you it was on Tuesday. It was I put on, not on everything, but on things that I tend to put like an emotional attachment to certain things and objects in the house. Venus makes a joke that she doesn't care for or want to drive the Z. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, if you sold the Z, but I said,
wait, is she not want to drive it because she thinks she would wreck it?
No, it's just unsafe. Like it's too old and it's not her bag.
Okay,
which is fine.
Okay,
not every type of car is. I'm a Z guy, so even if I didn't have this attachment thing to it, I would still be a Z guy. But I had like this, I don't know, it was probably 3 weeks or so ago when we were talking about the car situation that we have with Xander, soon to be driving kind of a thing. It was, I will never sell that car. I said, outside of the Z thing, I said, it came from her dad. So it is a relationship attachment that I have that represents my relationship with her dad. It's important to me because it came from her dad, and so that I have an attachment there. Like I can't let it go.
Right.
Like I could let the kids borrow it, but it will always be important to me and needs to stay with me because her dad's important to me. And that
you can have it when I'm dead.
The cactus that's out like next to the putting green is like it's atrocious, and I don't keep it pruned properly, and the putting green, but that was something that I had kind of put together after doing a Palm Desert vacation with her grandpa. Like it's almost like my little shrine to her grandpa. It doesn't really fit or belong, but it reminds me of the golfing and the relationship that I have with her grandpa.
Sure.
While I have an appreciation for the utility of MeMaw, I have a relationship attachment through jacks to the truck. So I can't let the truck go, and I can't let the truck not be fixed because it made the last moments that I had with jacks so special that there's an attachment.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it would be if it was,
who needs logic?
Right. fucking just out the window. Like, not important. If that didn't exist, I'd have probably just went, I made a significant fiscal mistake, and
I'm going to sell it for a loss.
You know,
it needs a motor.
Yeah, that's not worth my time. I'm not going to put that kind of money. But I'm in a position where it has such an emotional attachment to me because of Jax and my dogs, and like what it represents to be a pet person, a good pet person, and how much joy it gave him. Like, yeah, I will fix it. Not on a timeline that makes sense, given how much we had talked about, like, what kind of utility I needed from a truck, an affordable truck at the time. We're way beyond affordable at this point.
Right.
And because it's non-functional, there's no real utility there. But now it's
you could tow it behind the RS.
Yeah. Put a tow. There's torque there. It wouldn't last very long. But it's a shrine now. It's a shrine. And so I will have to figure out a way
to make that happen.
To make it happen, right?
Sure.
It won't happen on a timeline that makes it usable soon, because, like we were talking just shortly before, I'm not made of money. But most importantly, as I was talking with Venus and Xander, really, even if I could, like, just leverage money, like, fuck it, credit, or get a loan or something, I can't. I'm out of time. Like,
yeah.
I still have to work. So even if I wanted to make a poor financial decision, like, I wouldn't have the time to act on. Well, I bought a motor. It'll be here next week. And I bought a clutch, and I bought the leaf springs and shocks and control arms, and a carrier bearing, and the rhino liner to redo the bed, and it's all going to be fucking tits. Like, well, when would I have the time to do that? I don't.
I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where it's baby steps.
It
right?
has to be. Yeah. And that's part of my, like, struggle with that is, like, the sad dad, right? My time is already distributed amongst very important things to me and to my family. And
I mean, something would have to give.
Something would have to. So, you know, what was I going to do this summer or spring? I don't know, but this will have to be on the list, because it's just as important to me. And
I will say, you've got a good group of people that are mechanically inclined and are more than happy to come help you, and that also cuts your time down.
It does. So
when you're ready, I know at least 2 people, including myself, and possibly another person, that would be more than happy to come help you with your time problem.
Right.
Because more hands means more time, right?
Sure.
So when you're ready, then we do that.
Right.
So,
I have lots of stuff and lots of lists.
I don't think this is one of those times where you can just be like, oh, guess what? Last weekend I blah, blah, blah. No, you're going to need help. You know?
Yeah.
So just accept the help that's offered for sure. Because you don't do that. You're not one of those people that does that.
Well, there's some stuff that I would try and tackle, but pulling a motor is not one of the, like...
Well, first of all, you've probably not done it.
No.
And
no. Not with me driving.
Yeah.
Like, I have, like, driving.
You've helped other people.
Right.
Yeah.
I've helped my dad.
I've not done it.
Pull the motor out of the Chevy.
And see, that's the way I look at it too. I'm more than willing to help. I want to do it. When you're ready, I hope that you would ask or would want me to help.
Yeah.
I would do it. I've never pulled motor, but I would do it because, first of all, we're hanging out. And second of all, because I would just love the experience of doing it. And, this is okay. I mean, I've seen lots and lots and lots of videos.
Yeah.
And
there's all kinds of, like, maintenance stuff that now it kind of moves. like the mileage number that's on it is like, whoa, okay, and it's like one thing, but there are some things you're like, well, what is the status of the clutch? What's the status of the transfer? Like there's a whole
while
bunch
I'm
of
in theirs.
Exactly.
Sure.
The things that I've been watching, like over time, it's like, oh, what's the status of the clutch, and the flywheel? It's a pain in the ass to get, especially on the 4x4. It's a pain in the ass to get at the clutch because you've got to like pull the all in the way. Yeah,
transfer case and everything.
If you have to pull the motor,
you're already there.
You're already there.
Yeah,
like. But all of those things become...
I mean, you're going to get a motor and you're going to be replacing seals and all kinds of shit on that already.
Sure.
Right?
Yes.
If you're going to do that, then you're going to put a clutch on it.
Right.
So
it's like...
that's a no-brainer.
There's all kinds of little things that all of a sudden become...
pricey, expensive.
Sure. And it's like, well... Yeah, but once it's out, why would you not tackle this now? Because it won't get any easier, and there won't be more room than this moment when the motor's not even in it.
Right.
So why would you not do engine mounts? Why would you not do every vacuum line? Why would you not check?
Well, I mean, if you were comfortable with what you had done already on top, all that would just transfer. Whatever new stuff you already installed, that would just transfer over to the new thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure whatever the new motor is would have wear and tear on it that you would have to go through and address for sure. Right?
What? Nope.
Oh, you're not buying a brand new engine.
No,
so,
it'll be,
yeah, there would be wear and tear items on it that you would have to address before you'd want to drop it in, is what I'm getting at, for sure.
Oh, it'll be new, rebuilt new.
Oh, so you wouldn't get some, like a junkyard?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll start.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah. I'll start, reset.
Yes.
It'll be reset.
Start at the best possible scenario.
Yes.
There you go.
So.
I look for, if I'm able to help you, I look forward to doing it because it's something that I've never done, and I'm not saying that you're my opportunity to do this thing. I'm saying that I'm excited to help because I want to be able to do that thing.
Yeah. Well, and we've talked at length. Like the Z is there. Like the Z needs probably. Well, I wouldn't perceive the Z's motor as solid when we parked it, but the Z needs. There's nothing that would prevent. We might as well do the clutch. Yeah. So that's a motor pull, even though I'm not needing to refresh the motor. The bushings, the engine mounts,
seals,
the suspension, the seals, like all of that stuff have to be done. So I'm not excited about the cash outflow.
Right.
But these tools and experiences were already technically going to be needed and used in the Z anyway.
Yeah.
The Z was kind of like a retirement, 5 years down the road project, probably, when maybe Xander and Piper were not in the house, probably somewhere in that timeline.
Yeah.
But skills on MeMaw that will be happening, I would imagine, within the next year, will translate to the Z.
Sure they will. Yeah.
Plus, it's Nissan. So, surely.
I mean, they're the same engine, basically.
No.
Same chassis and everything.
The front diff on the 4x4 is the same as the Z's.
Oh, really?
Rear. Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. Just flipped it and smacked it. Anyway.
Just like a baby. Flip it and smack it.
Yeah. Just. What was that? Oh, the diaper.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, considering the situation that Melly was in, like, I got pretty upset. I was like, I felt like I was in a situation where she is footing the bill for this school, for grad school and all this and living expenses and all this stuff. Her car is not going to be the reason why she can't finish this shit.
Right.
I'm not going to let that happen.
Right.
So it became all right, well, you're going to take mom's car and we'll keep your car and go get it fixed. She doesn't have any money. What is she going to get, a student loan?
Yeah.
To repair her head gaskets?
Yeah, no.
It's just untimely. And it's such a bummer.
Shan's probably happy to drive the Shadow to work.
Maybe. I mean, she is.
She's like, oh, look at this. Donuts.
It was funny because Chandler, I guess the last time he had driven it, had programmed the seat, the number 2 seat, for him. So when she gets in with her fob, it recognizes her fob and then adjusts the seat for her. And I get a message from her that's just a video, and she's like laying back in the seat.
Oh.
And she is like, what is the deal with the way Chandler has this seat set up? And I don't know. I don't use that setup. I use my own setup.
Lazy boy.
Yeah. And I'm like, first of all, Shanna's taller than Chandler is. So if she couldn't see out the window,
then your son couldn't,
or reach the fucking pedals, then how can Chandler do that? You know?
Yeah.
He denied it.
Oh, of course.
But we got her all set up, and then, so she's been driving it. It's interesting. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's different, but I'm not saying it's not ideal. It's just it's never a good time for a repair like that.
No.
You just fucking kidney punch, fuck you.
God damn it.
Yeah. So, but I was going to say, speaking of the weather, we were talking about this earlier in the show.
Yeah.
We moved her down to San Rafael on Sunday.
Okay.
Sunday wasn't terrible in the morning. Traffic was fine. There was no rain. Got her all the way down there. She's in this tiny little place that is literally on the bay. Like the backside of her house that she's in is right on the bay.
Oh, wow.
I mean, she's like a 7-minute walk from a marina. It's a really cool area.
Huh.
So we got her into the place, and while we were moving her in, it started raining, and it never stopped. And then we had to drive home that night. It was like, I'm not joking, like an hour and 15, 20 minutes of my wipers on high, doing 60 miles an hour on A80 with just fucking, it sounded like a boat. That's how much water is on the ground. But, it doesn't matter. First of all, the tires I have on my car, I am super impressed with. They're the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 all seasons, AS4s, all season 4s.
Okay.
I didn't really have a hydroplane thing that came up where I felt like I was out of control or didn't have control. But it seems to me, given the car that I own, right, which is a pretty decent sports sedan with awesome fucking tires, that you always have some car like a Yaris that wants to go faster than you.
Oh, yes.
Which just cracks me the fuck up. Because that's got to be sketchy as shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Little with high rubber, no aqua channel things.
It just surprises me. But that was the longest I think I'd ever driven ever in my life with the high wipers on and not really be able to see very well. And it just fucking dumping rain.
And we were just talking about how we're both kind of the guys that, like, in a low rain will leverage speed and wind and sheeting of like a good ceramic
intermittent
coat on
wiper for me. I don't let it kind of hit the windshield and then wipe it
off. I'm like, I can see. I'm good. I'm comfortable with the visibility.
Yeah.
So when my wipers are on, it's shit's getting real.
And this was on high on.
Oh yeah.
And like the entire way, like from basically 37 all the way down 80 until we got to Madison. It kind of stopped raining. And then after we got back into Roseville, it started dumping again. So
you're like chasing probably the way that those cells were coming up.
Yeah.
You were just in it.
Oh, it was nuts. It was the sound for like that amount of time and like a little bit of white knuckle action and no sudden movements. If there was a car in front of me that was even tapping his fucking brakes, I'm moving. I'm not sitting behind you. I don't know what you're fucking braking for. And a lot of times they weren't braking for any reason whatsoever, which is the most dangerous kind of shit you can do.
Yeah. What are you doing?
Why are you doing that shit?
Yeah.
So get out from behind him, move past him, move back over. I didn't want to be in the fast lane. I was fine in the other lane. Oh my God, that was a nerve-wracking drive. Definitely. So I had 2 drives this week that were just fucking bonkers from a rain standpoint that I don't think I'd ever had to ever do for that amount of time.
There's some, because we used to make this joke, like the alterations to frequency and rain here. When we left the state to go to North Carolina, Venus and I, we made a running, like when it would rain in North Carolina, people would pull off the road.
Oh yeah.
Like onto the shoulder.
Yeah.
And Venus and I, from here it would be like what are you scared of? So it's that it wasn't necessarily any harder than a hard rain here, but people would just like, oh, it's too much. Yeah. And they would like pull out, and you're like,
it's too intense.
Why are you braking? And why are you pulling off? Like, what? Flat tires? They need help? No, they're just scared shitless. The alterations to weather patterns that have started to happen here have like almost created the same, and plus we've talked about it, like the generation under us, the skill set, the driving skill set, and
because it's always a goddamn drought here.
Yeah, and the availability of ride sharing, Lyft and Uber and whatnot, the frequency and putting time in the seat to people driving at remote work has removed some of people's experiences in driving in inclement weather.
Yeah.
And that I drove over to the mall to pick up food or something in one of these storms last week, and people don't know what the fuck is going on.
Right.
Like if you're not comfortable,
don't leave the house.
Yeah, don't leave the house.
Yeah.
2, get over to the lane that affords you the slow.
Yeah.
I'm not going to hot foot past you, but you need to understand that tapping your brakes in the rain, because
when there's 3/4 of an inch of water on the road,
right? Because you're scared shitless in the middle lane, you're gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, we're on Highway 80, where the speed limit's 70, right?
Yeah,
and you're tapping your brakes, and everyone's doing 60.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like no one would go fast because it was that hard. Now I will say this: I have had one time driving down the hill from Auburn area where it rained so hard that I had my wipers on high, and it wasn't enough to keep up with the downpour.
Yeah.
And I ended up pulling off.
I'll pull off in something like that.
Yeah.
Damn, that's happened.
Parked. I ended up stopping behind another car under an overpass and just kind of waited for it to let up, because it won't last long like that.
Sure.
That's a very
to
small
the point where it's like a fog of war and you can't see.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. If your wipers aren't going to keep up,
there's that. Plus
the
amount of water that's hitting the road is Hydroplane City.
Yeah, you're gonna. Mistakes will happen.
That was like one of the few times where I ever just pulled off the road like, fuck, I just can't see. I don't know where the lanes are. There wasn't anybody really on the highway at the time other than this other car that pulled off. And I was like, I'm just going to pull off too. It's not going to hurt me.
Yeah.
It's like.
I had that in the Alta Sierra.
Yeah.
In my Fiero. Like I came, cause some of that, just enough, there's like elevation changes in the road that like unsettle the car suspension, and I came a dip in the rain and 360 the Fiero, and then it was just too much rain, and I went, I'm all I'm just gonna pull over and just let it.
Yeah.
At least let it stop raining, and then allow me to calm down because I had just whipped the shit out of the fucking...
Code Brown.
Yeah, whoa. No, fuck it. You end up in a fucking pine tree out the Sierra if you guess wrong.
I will say this. Just one other thing that kind of gives you an idea of how much rain we had. The road that's behind my house is called Pleasant Grove. It's a large 6-lane road, divided road. So 3 lanes on each side. If you're going from, say, the Galleria and you're coming down Pleasant Grove, you pass my house.
Okay.
Essentially.
Right.
You don't even realize it when you're driving, but there are some like hills to it as you go down the street. Right behind my house we're sort of at the peak of a small hill, and it goes down a little bit, and then starts to creep back up as it heads towards the next light, which is Washington.
Yeah. Chandler
had been out. This is the night that we had gotten home from Melly's, which we had just driven in the rain. And him and his girlfriend were headed back to the house, and they were on Pleasant Grove, right behind the house.
In the truck or the VW?
In the truck,
wow.
Luckily. And apparently that crest that's right behind our house kind of dips into the next one. The drain that is there clogged.
Oh, fuck.
And the road completely flooded to the point to where Chandler's like, why are all these cars in front of me braking? And then he sees the plume of water as these cars are hitting this amount of water that was there. That's how much rain we got in a short amount of time.
Lake Pleasant Grove.
Yeah, they actually had a cleanup there late into the night trying to get those drains unclogged.
Oh.
I presume they probably just get clogged with leaves. I don't know.
Yeah, because it was also windy.
Or stolen Amazon boxes.
Really? Oh, chucked into the...
Yeah, I see stolen Amazon boxes on my walk all the time that they have taken the shit out and just chucked it out the car.
Egg beaters? That's dumb.
No, not the product boxes, but just the like the brown box.
Oh.
They'll just chuck it with the label and shit on it. Yeah. Anyway, so that was how much water we got. How much rain in just the short amount of time after we got home.
And in like 3 weeks, we'll be complaining about the drought and heat.
Well, everyone wants to complain about the rain, but I'm like, look, man, the summer's going to come.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hot as fuck for months, and we won't get a fucking drop of rain for months.
I've been meaning to check in to see, because these last couple storms have put footage into the Sierras, but I'm not sure where we're at with the snowpack. Do you know?
I haven't. No, I don't know.
I don't know either.
I would imagine we're over 100% of average.
You think?
I would assume.
I can't remember. I think late January we may have been a hair under, but I'm guessing.
It's not what we got last year.
No.
Not even close.
No, because I'm not hearing any stories about Mammoth being, turned into Elsa's Winter Wonderland.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure we had quite a bit of snow up there. It would probably be unrecognizable for you if you went back to the North Star. Is that where you went?
Yeah, North Star.
Yeah, it would probably be completely different up there now, I would assume.
I would, yeah. Yes, because I watched the
North Star cams?
Yes, I slow touch myself.
Watch the rocks just disappear.
Yeah, all the... Heavenly has a snow stake, and they reset every 24, 48 hours.
Uh-huh. So does that mean they just keep moving it up as the snow comes down?
They do it to storm accumulation. So they reset it when new storms come in, or if they can't get to it.
So they zero it out basically. Yeah.
Okay. But a lot of the cameras also you can click and watch a 24-hour time lapse. So every once in a while, I think yesterday,
just watch it accumulate.
Over the last big storm, watch the last day, and it 2, 4, 6, 8, and then it starts to melt a little bit, and then someone
settles a bit.
Someone comes and then swipes it off, and then
it starts.
But Heavenly allows you to watch some of their lift cams in a time lapse. Oh, that's fucking cool.
I like that stuff.
They've got one at the top of the Heavenly gondola that has a pretty good shot of
The lake.
Like the lake and the bay.
Yeah.
On a time lapse, so you can see like the whole front come in over the mountains, and then snow, and then it leaves. I'm like, oh, that's nice. I'd like to watch that anyway.
Fun fact: on my 21st birthday, which is in June, June 15th, we went to Tahoe, and it snowed on my birthday in June.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that bizarre?
Well,
in June.
Keep pumping out them hairnet air sprays, whatever, for the greenhousings to get more snow in June.
Yeah. I just think, I always think back on that like, man, that's crazy.
Wasn't that, we had that last year too, didn't we?
Didn't
we have like late snow? Like it was, God, I want to say people were skiing almost to July.
Well, I mean, I would imagine, but we had so much snow that I could see the snowpack just being around for a while, right?
Certainly Mammoth. I don't know about.
Well, I mean,
RC.
up in Donner, they had snow up over the second stories of some of those houses there. So there was a lot of snow up there last year.
Yeah, a lot of snow.
But I don't think it's that bad this year. It might be more wet snow than what we had last year. Last year was a lot of cold, dry storms.
Yeah.
Even though we got rain and stuff, but we had a ton of snow up there, and I think it was just like dry, fluffy snow that made it more deep.
Did you start your taxes yet?
Did I tell you what happened?
No. You're going to use your tax refunds for a head gasket.
That's a possibility. I bought TurboTax from Sam's Club.
Oh, yeah. Wait, I don't know if you put it on the air. So
I bought TurboTax from Sam's Club. Okay, I went to Sam's Club. They had it on sale. It was $44.88 at Sam's Club. I'm like, that's a good deal. I'll buy that. And I look at the thing like, do I need to like take it somewhere? No, it just says at the bottom. I just saw a thing that says CD, Mac and Windows. I'm like, sweet, that's what I need. Grab it. And my wife does the thing with the app where you scan all the things and then you pay with the app and you just go to you don't have to go to a check stand.
Oh, handy.
Yeah, it's very time saving.
Okay.
So the little Intuit TurboTax container for TurboTax Deluxe, and we scan it and we scan our other shit and we pay, and I don't think that I need to do anything with it, so we leave. We check out and it checks our stuff. And then it's at home for a couple of weeks, and I go, I need to install TurboTax and get everything all up to date so I can do my taxes. And I like get the package out and I open, where the fuck is the CD? And then I close it, and at the top there's a yellow sticker that says, take this to the cashier so you can get your shit. And I go, fuck, I spent money on TurboTax. I don't even have the software. So now I just haven't had time for like a week and a half now since I realized it happened to go back to Sam's to get, hey, I'm sorry, I'm fucking stupid. Here's the thing I took home.
Obviously, I don't have it because I have this box.
Right. Yeah.
Can I have the
actual software? Because Uncle Sam would appreciate it, or at least I would.
Right.
So, no, I have not done my taxes. I would have started them already, but I do not have the software.
My dad had come down. This random story as we're tail end. He came down last week, and he said, "Did I have a Blu-ray player?" Like,
he asked you if you had one.
Yeah, I'm like, I mean, the Xbox and the PS5 will play Blu-ray.
Yeah,
but I haven't watched a disc in probably years.
Right.
I'm like, why? And he's like, well, the upstairs tenant has the Yellowstone series on Blu-ray. He's like, I don't have. He has a DVD player, but it doesn't play Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And I went, well, I think the Xbox.
Does he have an Xbox?
Yeah, I've like,
giving him one over
traded down, rotated out an Xbox, but I couldn't remember what model is up there. And he's like, oh, well, the Xbox. I'm like, well, just put it in, put.
See what it does.
See what it, Probably. I don't know. Fuck. If it won't, it won't. And so he gets home, and he sends me a picture of the Xbox. It's upside down, of course. He's like, "This is the Xbox." And I went, fucking
put the disc in it.
Google Xbox One S play. Yeah, it'll play DVD. He's like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Dad, you're not gonna blow up the fucking Xbox if you put a Blu-ray disc in it. It's gonna, if it doesn't play, it'll just spit it out.
Right.
And if it doesn't do anything,
it'll give you an error of some kind or
it
something.
It won't do anything.
Yeah.
And then you just push the eject button, and it'll come back out.
Yeah.
It's not gonna eat it. It's not gonna blow up. It's not a Mission Impossible fucking thing."
Yeah.
So he fucking comes down. I don't know. It wasn't Friday. I don't remember what day it was. It was like a random day, and he's got his Xbox in his hand.
Oh my God!
And he had bought an Amazon Firestick. He didn't want me to buy it. He wanted to buy his own Amazon Firestick.
Okay.
So I'm like, "Well, Dad, like, we could make sure that the Firestick is mirrored to your login, but like, I can't walk you through how to use it because you're going to take it home and you have to plug it into your own TV and know your inputs and. He's like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, "And you're going to have to put it on your Wi-Fi, which I can't do here." "Oh,
won't reach."
Well, okay. Okay. I'm like, "And why is the Xbox here?" He's like, "I don't know my login. I don't know the username and the password."
Oh my God!
And also, I bought the Blu-ray. I brought the Blu-ray down to test it.
Oh my God, dude!
Dad, shit!
I told you already.
I did just put the disc in, but he did have. It may have needed updates, and he legitimately didn't. Every once in a while, the Xbox will like want you to give me your password again, just to make sure that you're changing it or it's been updated or whatever. You, I guess. And so it was a good opportunity for me to at least make sure that the dashboard and the Xbox actually was updated. So we do that. It has a Blu-ray. Yes, it plays Blu-rays. So he was tickled.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, "Oh my God, have you watched this series?
Please this punch.
This is amazing. God, Kevin Costner is so fucking. Oh my God." I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "Have you seen it?" I'm like, "No, Dad, I don't." He's like, "Oh, it's amazing." Anyway, so we get the Fire Stick punched into the HDMI. He's like, "All I really care about once we get this set up is how do I watch Reacher?"
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, I just want to watch Reacher. I watched some of the season 1 down at your aunt's when we were down there.
Is that on Prime?
Yeah, it's Prime.
Yeah.
He's like, "Have you read the books?" I'm like, "No, Dad, I haven't read any of the.
I never learned to read.
They're amazing. Have you seen this guy? Have you seen?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've actually watched both. I enjoyed the series, and that Alan Richardson is fucking jacked out of his mind." He's like, "Let me tell you, when Tom Cruise played this guy, it doesn't even match." Anyway, but when I watched it, season 1, it's amazing. I love it. Anyway, all I need to know is how to get to Jack Reacher.
Is it on Blu-ray?
It's on Blu-ray. So I get him set up, and we play like start Jack. I'm like, "Okay, so this is how you get to Jack Reacher. It's the first tile that's going to be right here." He's like, excellent. Okay, Disney Plus. And I went, "What?" And he went,
Put your shit on here.
How do I get to Disney Plus? Because I didn't finish The Mandalorian." And I went, "Oh, well, I can't let you leave here."
Right.
And it took me a moment to figure out like how I was going to rig it. And he went, "Oh, you don't watch Disney Plus stuff?" And I went, "Oh, you need to pump the brakes there, father."
Do you know who you're talking to?
I'm Mr. Disney Plus. Like, fucking what? So then
I'm watching Cinderella right now.
So the problem is, I just had the Xbox dash up, and obviously you can watch most streaming apps on the Xbox dash, as well as the Firestick will do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So the hiccup that he caught in not answering him right away is, can I get Disney Plus
on the Xbox
here, was me trying to figure out, how do I not let him see Disney Plus in 2 different locations where it would cause him a like
I'm logged in on this one, but not this one.
I had the Xbox on and I hit Disney Plus, but it's asking me for a login, and I'd have to say, Dad, I only did Disney Plus on the Fire Stick. You need to split. So I had to remove Disney Plus from the Xbox dashboard and install it and have him set up
Simplify
on the Fire Stick.
Yeah.
And so then I get that set up, and I made his avatar Mater from Cars.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you're gonna see.
Woo-wee!
Yeah. Ooh-wee! I'm like, when you start this, you're going to see 3 pictures. Venus is Stitch, and my avatar is Iron Man, and it's like Jason Venus, and I just named his dad. I'm like, when you see this window, you are the bucktooth tow truck. Okay? He's like,
that's only because there wasn't a tractor.
Yeah. Shit, shots fired. He'd probably get like PTSD or something. Like, I don't want to watch Disney Plus
I'm
anymore.
out.
Fuck it.
Fucking tractor.
Yeah, so the bucktooth tow truck is Dad. So we get Disney lunch, and he's like, well, so how do I get to the Mandalorian? I'm like, just hold on. Just
hold your horses, pal.
I'm like, did you finish season 1? He's like, no, I just got to some plot where the Baby Yoda was like just starting to. I'm like, okay, so you need to so add to watch list Mandalorian season 1, and it does like the whole set of seasons. He's like, is there anything else I need? Oh, Avatar, Way of the Water. I'm like, oh, that's on Disney too. Watch list, add to watch. Here, we'll add the first movie too. Like, you can watch both of these right here. Anything else I need to watch on here? I'm like, well,
how much time do you got, buddy?
I'm like, well, okay. I'm like, Andor, you should watch this.
Yeah.
Awesome. I didn't put any of the cartoons, but I'm like, I put Obi-Wan on there. I did put Ahsoka on there, and something else. I can't remember what else. But then he went and gave me the nerd fuel. He's like, and at some point you're going to just have to send me an email of like what sequence I should be watching this in.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I went,
boner time.
oh, Poppy. Father, you're speaking the way of my people. And I'm trying to, like, he's giving me just enough to where I'm like trying to not scare my own father as to the nerd fuel in which I know.
Yeah.
Like,
now, I mean,
finish your Mandalorian series.
The thing of it is if he knew his way around Disney Plus, he could just go in the Disney section and it will give him.
Right. He could
do that on his own, but would he be able to get there and realize what he wants to watch in the sequence of which he wants to watch it?
Maybe, because the remote would still be like navigating with the Fire Stick remote is probably its own learning curve for him.
Yeah.
Not that he's inept, but
right.
I put everything.
My wife can't handle the Apple TV remote, so I totally get it.
Oh yeah. So and it's not like my dad's not technologically
illiterate.
Right.
100%, yeah.
He knows his boundaries. I just talked about that. He knows his boundaries. And unless someone walks him through a thing multiple times, if he gets to a boundary, he hands off and he'll come down here, randomly show up someday with like a handful of tech and be like, something may have happened. Or, I don't understand. I want to buy this, but Amazon's never going to get it to me here. Like, you hit the buy button and send it to me. I'm like he did that with a DeWalt chainsaw. He's like, he wanted to buy it. The umpires pay him in Amazon gift cards. He wanted to buy a cordless DeWalt chainsaw.
Yeah.
He's like, came down. He's like, I got all these gift cards. Buy the chainsaw. Just have it shipped here. I'm like, why? He's like, it'll never get to me in time for me to use it. It'll take like 2 weeks. I'm like, goes to his account.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, see, it's like it's Prime.
Yeah.
2-day shipping. He's like, it'll never happen. Like, put it in your cart on your account. See, I'm like, DeWalt chainsaw.
He's like, the man's watching what I buy.
Yeah. Like 2 days. It's not going to get to me any faster than it's going to get to you. And it's telling you it's going to get to your house in 2 days.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I don't believe that. Fucking bye. Send it to his house. I'm like,
here's proof, pal.
yeah, we'll see, Dad. Fucking, he sent me a text like 2 days later. He's like, oh my goddamn, the UPS guy just drove up here with my fucking chainsaw. It was like, God, never
brilliant.
happened. Never happened.
Yeah.
I'm like, if it says
if it says what it says, then it's gonna get
coming.
there.
If it's not Prime 2-day shipping to your house, well then it's probably going to be like 3 to 8 days. Who the fuck knows?
Yeah.
But the ones that say Prime 2-day, next day,
turn on the switch that says Prime only.
Yeah, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he was completely flabbergasted. So he's got Disney Plus.
He's got enough. He's got plenty to watch.
And he's got it. Yeah.
He's not going to have time to use the chainsaw.
Yeah. No, in fact, my brother was using it. I'm like, how's the chainsaw? He's like, Brett really likes it. I'm like,
I'm still watching Mandalorian.
yeah, what? So he's had that for a week, but I'm sure he's probably got a more of a hard on for Reacher at this point, and then he'll be like putting Blu-ray discs in to watch Yellowstone.
Yeah.
But there you
fun.
go. There,
Love it.
Hey,
I like those stories.
yeah, that's good stuff.
Shan's dad's like 82, and I'm always surprised at how well he can. He kind of gets, he gets stuck here and there for sure. But I always hear shit like, "Well, how's it going with your new Mac?" The mouse doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so Ryan bought him a new mouse. It's still, the new mouse doesn't work. And then he was telling me, well, when it doesn't work, if I just tap the power button in the back, not press it, tap on it, then the mouse starts working. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? I'm like, dude, I don't know, man.
What kind of...
What is happening, bro? That's the kind of shit I get from him. I'm like, I don't know, man. I got 2 Mac Minis on my fucking desk. They both work like a champ.
Yeah. No fucks.
Yeah. So
I was making a joke but my dad leaves. Generally, we make like funny haha jokes about his tech ability.
Yeah.
And I was talking with Piper and Xander, really, and it's good funny haha, but in the end, my dad is actually quite savvy.
Yeah.
And I will always, and so it's Venus's dad is the same way. Like, knows his guardrails. He fucks up. They make mistakes. They're not complete geniuses.
Right.
They get themselves into trouble.
They click on the link sometimes.
Right. But both of them are ahead of the curve for most people in their generation. So I poke fun and we make jokes, but I'm actually quite blessed to have them know where the danger zones are.
Yeah.
And they both just like, no, I'm done. This is bad. I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And they'll admit it. So it's good for jokes, but at least they're not.
Raji gets all those damn phishing emails, and I'm like, and he's like, "Is this real?" And I'm like, just mouse over the link of where it wants you to go. Yeah. Does it look anything like what it should look like? Does it say it's for Amazon, or does it say it's going to whatever the business is? If it's totally different, then it's fake. Just delete it.
And I think we're like, my family is probably, at least my in-laws and then my dad directly are probably lucky because they don't neither of them like Facebook. I think if they were active in Facebook, that would probably open them up to a space that would get them in danger quicker. Like it's just a, bad juju for someone that's just trying to like think that friends are doing friend things and offering up links and locations.
Right.
But because they don't, they're a little bit more walled as far as vulnerabilities go.
Yeah.
So that's it. We're at time.
I would imagine.
It's not terrible.
No.
We've done worse.
All right. Well, turn on your wipers.
Yeah. Return the cart.
Wash your ass.
Wash your hands.
And check your oil, Tony, for fuck's sake.
Stay up to date on your shots. I haven't heard from Overbay in a long time.
Pick up a broom. I haven't either.
Have you?
No.
You should send something.
He's busy.
Is he?
Always.
I see his TikToks.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's busy.
I mean, but I haven't directly talked to him. But
yeah.
His like podcast empire.
Yes.
Good for you. Register to vote.
Do the kindness. Anything else?
We'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We appreciate you.
Yes. Happy post Valentine's Day.
Take it easy, guys.
Bye.